All right, here we are in the I want to build an airplane row. Anything that you could possibly dream of to build, somebody has a kit or an airplane, and they are on display here. And you can see from the signs there is quite a bunch of airplanes. If you want to come up and decide what airplane you would like to buy or build, that's what I did with my Great Lakes. I came up here 2 years ago because I wanted to have a fun airplane to replace my Turbo 310R. Actually, of course, I bought a Great Lakes and I kept my Turbo 310R, so that didn't work out too well. But what I was able to do was I was able to go around and look at all these aircraft and sit in them. Because my back doesn't bend the best, and I found out that, like the Decathlon and Citabra that I really loved and had in an aerobatic school, I could no longer fit in the front cockpit, so that was kind of disappointing. But if you put a big open hole in the airplane, like an open cockpit airplane, you can fit. And here we have Kit Fox, we have Sonex. These are all traditional brands. And of course we have all the aircraft parking over here. And Ole Sinberg, who has the only flying Prescott pusher, he's had some, unfortunately, problems with a fuel leak in the wing, and he usually parks right up front, and I don't see him this year, unfortunately. I don't think he got it fixed. All right. This actually intrigued me here, the jet engine. I could finally fly a jet aircraft again, and the performance was actually kind of cool. All right, this one has me concerned. No engine, no wings, but oh well, I think it's just to see how you fit in the thing. And of course, Van's Aircraft, which was kind of surprising because they had the issue with the laser cutting. They went bankrupt in that, and they had to up the prices. But you know, for what should have been and is one of the most successful line of home-built aircraft, it was sad that they had those issues. And I've known several people who are building or have built the Van's aircraft, and the kits are just amazing. Again, the flight line. And the thing about Oshkosh is you see just a plethora of people and aircraft. There's a Green Bay Packers fan. We won't say anything about that. Being from Chicago area, I'm prejudiced. Bearhawk, a backcountry type of airplane. You can tell with those tires. I saw some recent safety thing says, you know, you gotta be careful flying backcountry because you know, a lot of the airfields are not improved, and that has its own level of hazards. But there's a really good organization that's dedicated to that, and it keeps you out of trouble, I guess.
Typically they fly in
Zenith.
I'm not gonna maybe because
in our garage. So we basically not
Oh yes. Viking engines. Velocity. Some of this just goes on and on. That's interesting. Well, that's one I haven't seen before, a subscale P40. And a subscale P51. Hmm. Speedster. Oh, now there's an interesting aircraft. When I was at Wichita, BD was up at Newton, and of course the James Bond movie with the BD jet. There's actually a test pilot who evaluated the BD jet. The Air Force was looking at it as a cheap way to keep fighter pilots in proficiency, but I guess it had some characteristics that weren't the most favorable, and he ended up stalling it, and he ended up in a wheelchair because of it, unfortunately, and was paralyzed. Super guy though. Ended up being an instructor. He had been a test pilot in the Air Force and ended up being an instructor out at the test pilot school. And the interesting thing was, across from his office was the picture of his test pilot school class, and he's standing next to one of the NF 104s. And of course then he ended up in the wheelchair. But for ending up that way, guy had just a super positive attitude. It's amazing. Okay, that is, for a certain extent, a lot of the new aircraft row here up at Oshkosh.